Money in the Bank delivered. In my opinion, could be the show of the year. We got our fallout and our thoughts on that amazing show and that amazing crowd in London on this special live stream edition of a revamped World Elite podcast. Let's go.
So what does it mean to be a raging Cajun? Southwest Louisiana, wreck your face, man. Still don't get it in, I'ma let you know. All you gotta do is come and join the show.
Well, hello again, everybody. We are the highest tier pod of your weekly unfiltered wrestling and entertainment. Welcome to the World Elite Podcast. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We are on YouTube and Twitch. Of course, I am Marcus at MarcusElite337 on Twitter. The other two of the Hostly Trio celebrating 4th of July with their families right now. It is 4th of July weekend. Hope everyone has a safe, happy 4th of July. Don't drink and drive. And be sure you still have all your fingers if you're going to be popping fireworks. But I'm not alone. We're going to be talking Money in the Bank. We got Freddy from Talking About It All. What's going on?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Happy to be on.
Absolutely. So, man, where do we even want to start? Because, man, this is... I'll let you lead off with Money in the Bank. Like, what was your honest opinion on this whole show?
So I got to watch it after it came on. So I was at the beach yesterday with family. So I got home around 9:30. Twitter was down all day, so I didn't get to see any spoilers, which was perfect. Got home, got to watch it uninterrupted. Wasn't on social media until after each match where I posted what I thought. But overall, it was probably the best show of the year, I think, in any company.
Yeah, because in the last week, you know, they did amazing with Forbidden Door, I thought. And I said that was going to could be the show of the year unless Money in the Bank tops it off. What's up? Shout out to Justin from the End Time Wrestling Podcast. And, of course, Jordan tuning in as well, one of the co-hosts of World Elite. But when they announced this back in January, I was like, they got to deliver. It's got to be the show. Because we know how the crowd gets in the UK, and it's been a long time coming since London.
Yes,
had a
years, right?
About 20 years. If you want to count the insurrection and rebellion pay-per-views and all that, then yes,
right,
you would say that. But I knew it was going to deliver. Now, shockingly, I don't know what's going on in the Twitter world where you now have a certain amount to look at tweets and even retweet shit. Maybe it was a sign saying Money in the Bank was going to be so good we don't need no distractions.
Right.
I was probably one of millions of people around the world that was pissed about this shit with Twitter. I'm like, it's the most important day of the year. I got to roll through Twitter and talk shit and whatnot. But luckily I didn't, because I didn't get to watch it until an hour later. I didn't get home till after 3. The pay-per-view started at 2 o'clock our time. Of course, Dylan tuning in. He said he's going to be tuning in, watching. He wasn't able to make it today as well. But I was like, maybe this is a good sign. You know, I'm pissed about this updated shit on Twitter, but I'm like, maybe I won't have to worry about it. So, like, when I got home, I put the phone on the charger in a bedroom, and I shut and locked the door. That way I didn't have to go worry about my phone, because once I got home, I started it all the way from the beginning and watched from there with no spoilers from the internet, no spoilers from group chats. Y'all know who y'all are? None of that shit. But, man.
I woke up in the morning and I saw Twitter was down. I'm like, all right. So I went to the beach. My phone was in the car the entire time at the beach. Got it back. Still was down. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to be able to go home, not look at any spoilers, and I'll just be able to watch it, which was perfect. So I told all my friends who watched the pay-per-view, yo, don't text me. Don't go into our Facebook chat. I don't want to hear anything.
When you told me you didn't watch it yet, I'm like, okay, I left you alone. I was like, because I thought we were going to do it last night. But I'm like, you know, I could start my Great American Bash Marathon early, because that's kind of a 4th of July tradition I started since the network launched. You know, I'd go back and watch every Great American Bash WWE produced from 2004 to 08, and then occasionally I'll throw a WCW one in, because we're going to be back together tomorrow. We're going to do an audio recording for Great American Bash 2000,
Yes, sir.
I can't wait. We're going to drop it on the 4th of July. I'm also going to do Great American Bash 2004 with Dylan, but it's going to be later in the month. So that's another thing I wanted to start doing. Last year, I dropped a Great American Bash nostalgia on the 4th. I did 07 last year. So I'm like, I'm going to do this every year now. Like at least one, no more than 2 a year. Because, you know.
I'm excited because it gives me an opportunity to go back and watch older pay-per-views. So.
Yes, well, I rewatched it last night. I rewatched 2000 last night, and I watched 2004 this morning. When we're done with this, I'm going to continue and watch 05 and probably 06 today. I'm going to watch 07 tomorrow night after we record while I'm editing, and may throw in 08 Tuesday just because I'll be done with it.
I'm going to definitely watch 2000 sometime tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. We're going to have some fun talking about that one tomorrow when we do the audio. So Money in the Bank, you know, so that whole weekend they were in London. I enjoyed SmackDown. They had a raucous crowd at the O2, but Money in the Bank sure delivered. 18,885 were in the O2. And I forgot to mention this on our prediction show, but I called it. I said the men's Money in the Bank ladder match is going to kick off the show. I just forgot to mention it on the live stream. But we kick it off, and that crowd was ready to go. We had Damian Priest, Butch, LA Knight, Logan Paul, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Butch got a good ovation from the UK crowd. They were on point. They sung the fuck out of Nakamura's song. When I heard
he was really over Nakamura last night, I was surprised.
When I heard the crowd do that, I said, I cannot wait till Seth comes out. I cannot wait till Cody comes out. We'll talk all about that later. LA Knight had one of the biggest pops of the night. Logan had one of the biggest boos of the night. But this pay-per-view, like, I said Forbidden Door was great. I don't think I gave it a 5-star. I gave this pay-per-view a 5-star. I don't give 5 stars a lot to certain pay-per-views, but this one was definitely one of them. There was really not one bad match. Like
there wasn't.
There was one or two least interesting, but it wasn't bad. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match, tremendous. I rated it 4.5 out of 5. I mean, everyone just going beyond. You know, the best part was we didn't have to worry about Logan Paul winning Money in the Bank. He did suffer. He had a big old scrape across his shoulder and collarbone. That fucking spot.
We'll get to that spot. We'll get to that spot.
That spot with Ricochet off the top rope. Surprised he didn't get a concussion on that table like that.
That was scary. That could have went really bad. Going back because I had the chance to rewind it. No, not being live, so I got a chance to watch it 2 or 3 times. And Logan was probably millimeters away from falling on his neck and just breaking his neck. Because remember, they only landed through one table. It was supposed to be a 2-table spot.
Yeah, that he set up with Damian. He's like, come on, let's work together. And then Damian hit him with an uppercut after. It was funny as hell. So some of them look like people were talking about. Oh, Santos's look pretty cool. Damian's look in his entrance was pretty cool. But
yes,
but man, it was like every time LA Knight could breathe, that crowd was cheering for LA Knight. He would take a step, they were go screaming ape shit. If somebody would hit him, they boo. If he hit somebody, they're doing the yeah chant.
They were booing Butch. They were booing Butch during the exchange. Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, yeah, like welcome back to the UK, but we don't want you to win.
We don't want you to win.
If we aren't getting real Ricochet versus Logan Paul at SummerSlam after that spot and the Rumble, then what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I forgot about the Rumble, and I was there for that.
Yeah, that's what kind of set off that whole Ricochet Logan Paul was that spot in the Rumble.
You know what? Screw it. Let them have a match at SummerSlam. I want to see it.
Dude, you know, and I know Logan Paul gets a lot of hate from obviously a lot of people, not just wrestling fans, but people in general. A lot of people don't like the Logan brothers as it is. But, I mean, I don't know if you're on the same page as me. He has not been in a bad match yet. There's not one match where he's been in where I said, yeah, you know, this is not it. Even this match, even though he wasn't a factor, but he's on point with his shit always. Always.
He's been in like 5 or 6 total matches, and I was there for 2. I was in his in-ring debut at WrestleMania when he teamed up with The Miz against Rey and Dominic. He surprisingly entered the Royal Rumble this year at number 29, and I was there for that spot against Ricochet. But, you know, yeah, his match with The Miz at SummerSlam, very good. His match with Roman at Crown Jewel, very good. His match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Logan Paul was made for this. Yeah, I criticize his celebrityness. Like, you're a worldwide sensation celebrity because you don't do nothing. You just fight or you just piss people off on the internet. But you are an amazing athlete. I don't think you're worth of an MMA fighter or a boxer, but I will say you're a good wrestler. As a person, fuck Logan Paul, but as a see, Justin got the point there.
Right. Like I don't know if we've seen. He's what, 6'4", 6'5", almost bigger guy.
Yeah, he's
do
tall.
The shit that like his athleticism, the way he does spots like smaller guys for his height, is kind of like never really seemed like that much for how big he is.
Yeah, but I don't really have much to talk on. Yeah, like Nakamura was getting a buy-in for the crowd. You know, Santos had a cool look. You know, and Butch just being Butch, you know. Mainly, you were looking at guys like Logan Paul in this match, or hell, even LA Knight. You know, they were more worried about them two. And then, you know, you had Damian Priest in the background. But LA Knight was like this close winning it. Like, he had his hands on the briefcase, and then Damian comes and hits the what is it called? The one wing it ain't.
Was it a choke? It was kind of like a
broken
choke slam. Off the
they
top
call
almost, right?
They call it like it's not one winged angel. That's Kenny Omega's move. It was like a broken arrow.
Yeah, something like that.
He hit the broken arrow off the top of the ladder and he grabbed the briefcase. I'm like, okay, I like this. You know, I had Damian Priest as a backup. I said LA Knight wins or Damian Priest as a backup. Damian wins, and I mean, it fit right. Like, I could see him successfully cashing in, even if it's for a mid card title. I'd like to see him go after a world championship down the road. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think the crowd was kind of mid on it because they really wanted LA Knight to win. But like Dylan, I saw one of Dylan's tweets. He said LA Knight didn't really need that win. He's already over with the crowd.
And listen, as long as Logan Paul didn't win, it was a good outcome. But I think everybody going into it was, all right, if LA Knight doesn't win, it has to be Damian Priest to win. It was one of those two that had to win. So even though the crowd didn't like LA Knight winning, they didn't completely shit on it because it was Damian Priest.
Well, I said on our live stream that the WWE didn't want Logan Paul to win. They wanted somebody that was more suitable and stable for the company, and that's Damian Priest for you.
Right. And then after the match he put on at Backlash, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was eventually his time was going to come because of his great performance with Bad Bunny. I figured somehow they were going to reward him for an outstanding performance, and they awarded him by letting him become Mr. Money in the Bank,
100%.
which was right call.
And that was actually tweeted before the event when I was driving to the beach. He was my pick to win.
There you go.
Yeah.
So next up, we get this mixed tag team match. We get Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler for the women's tag team championship. I get where they're going with Priest, but it still sucks it wasn't LA Knight. I don't know what they're going to do with LA Knight. Hopefully they do something good with him.
You know what I think is going to be LA Knight's? I think you put him against Theory and have him win the U.S. title at this point. I think Theory's course is run with that title, and maybe you put just a belt on him for now. Have him ride with that belt for a minute, and then, you know, whatever's going to happen with Roman in the next 4 to 6 months, but up to WrestleMania, you kind of go from there. But I think he's going to get a belt. I just don't think, like, having him win Money in the Bank, knowing that Roman is the undisputed champion, even though with the briefcase you can jump from show to show, looking at the storylines they have in WWE with Finn, Seth, and Priest was the most logical one to win. Storyline wise, he was the most logical to win.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree. I would love to see LA Knight win the U.S. title from Theory. And I love Austin Theory, but if I said if anybody can take that title off of Theory, I would mind LA Knight, or I wouldn't even mind Grayson Waller.
Yeah, LA
Or
Knight.
Solo.
I think
or Solo Sikoa. That's like my
or
top
Solo.
three.
Right, but I think LA Knight is going to get that belt, whether it's at SummerSlam or Survivor Series, somewhere before the Rumble. He'll get it.
Or you got Payback, or you got Fastlane now.
Right,
They announced Fastlane in October in Indianapolis, and I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm usually used to Fastlane being around WrestleMania season, but they
that's usually the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, it used to be, and then they didn't do one in 2022. I figured they retired it, but they brought it back. But I think they retired Extreme Rules finally.
We didn't really need that pay-per-view anyway.
No, they're not even that extreme anyway, so it was suitable. So yeah, Liv Morgan coming out dressed like a Spice Girl. I mean, you gotta get. I had that feeling when I saw that look. I'm like, is she trying to be like Emma or Baby Spice?
Baby Spice, yeah.
Wade Barrett brought it up like she would make a great spot. I love the commentary team of Michael Cole and Wade Barrett.
They flow really, really good together.
Absolutely. I miss McAfee, but I get McAfee. It just got a fucking $85 million deal with ESPN, and they
monster deal.
Fired all those guys. It's sad. That sucks for some of them guys, especially
David. 20 of them got fired.
Yeah, including David from College Game Day.
Yeah, him, Max Kellerman, Steve Young,
Rosa.
Everybody got Keyshawn Johnson, Jeff Van Gundy, like everybody.
But is McAfee going to be like in the studio on ESPN with that money, or
no,
is he going to be on Game Day?
I'm thinking they're going to put him on. They have to put him on Game Day. You would think they would have to put him on Game Day at that point.
You would have 5 guys at the table. You would have Desmond Howard, Reese Davis, him, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah. He'll probably do his own shit. He'll probably do his own shit on Game Day. Maybe have his own show there.
Well,
Game Day.
He made Game Day 10 times better. I mean, some people are like, why the fuck you didn't get rid of Desmond Howard? Because they were bashing him for his Final Four for the college football playoff because he added like fucking Pitt and A&M in there. They're like, you fired David Polak, but you couldn't fire Desmond Howard. I'm like, I actually like Desmond Howard.
I like Desmond Howard a lot, and he's a Michigan guy.
I have a love-hate for Kirk Herbstreit. Like, he's good, but I hate his obsession with the goddamn Big Ten. Like, they're nothing like the SEC.
Right, they're but isn't Herbstreit's also on Amazon for NFL, correct?
Yes.
So I'm assuming, there was no way they were going to get rid of him.
But I love when he calls those big primetime games with Chris Fowler.
Yes.
They make a great pairing.
Yep, on Prime.
So we get this women's tag team match. I think everybody got swerved in this one. It was a least interesting match, but man, I did not expect Shayna Baszler to turn on Ronda Rousey like that. So now back-to-back years, Ronda gets beat down by Liv Morgan. Remember last year, Liv cashed in on her.
Yeah.
She loses the tag titles to her and Raquel, which I think everybody picked Shayna and Ronda to retain, but remember, they unified the NXT tag titles with them, so they're not carrying both belts anymore. They're just carrying the women's tag titles. Thank God.
Tag titles, yeah.
They're just going to be the official women's tag titles for all 3 brands. But I said on our live stream for the prediction show, I could see Raquel and Liv Morgan going to NXT to defend those titles, not Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
Right. I mean, like I said, the match, I call Shayna and Ronda because they just unified the tag team titles 2 weeks ago. You figure, okay, they're probably going to, they're going to beat this tag team, but I don't think anybody had Shayna turning on Ronda that quick. That was quick. And it was so quick in the match, too. The match wasn't really that deep in before the turn happened. The tag happened, Ronda was doing her thing, and all of a sudden, Shayna came in and just started beating the shit out of her. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, God, everybody's already trying to do fantasy booking now. They're like, oh, my God, give us Ronda and Shayna in a fight pit and put Amanda Nunes as the referee. I'm like, no, we don't need no more UFC people involved in a fucking fight pit. And it upset me. Daniel Cormier, who's from our backyard, was one of the worst ideas they had for that fucking fight pit last year.
But you remember that fight pit that they had, though? It was Thatcher. People weren't watching it because of that. people knew Bray was coming.
Uh-huh.
So the allure was Bray. It really wasn't the fight pit.
Well, I will say, I think, what was it, Thatcher and Matt Riddle in that fight?
They had a good one on, and was it on NXT?
Yes.
Yes, that was good.
They had two in NXT. I don't remember what the other one was. I just remember Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle's fight pit. There was another one I don't remember. And then they had the one with Seth and Riddle at Extreme Rules.
So I got a question. So before we move on to the next match, what do you think happens now? I get Shayna Ronda. The crowd cheered Shayna for turning on Ronda. I don't know if they're trying to turn Ronda babyface, but that's not a good idea. The crowd hates her.
Well, Ronda's going to be a heel. Nobody can't stand her no matter what. They can try and build her a face, but it ain't going to work. But it's just Shayna, I can't see her as a babyface either. She needs to go back. She needs to go back to NXT Shayna, or the Queen of Spades. Like that Shayna I really liked in NXT. And I'm like, she's going to be unstoppable if she goes. But they kind of gave her the shit fan of how they treated her on the main roster. Yeah, they let her team with Ronda. But what the fuck? Why did Ronda have an M on her forehead?
I had no clue. I was trying to figure out what was on her forehead the entire match. I was pausing, rewinding. I don't know what the M was for. It had no I don't know. I have no clue. And
then at one point, the crowd was chanting. They were either singing along or chanting something for that tag match. They were saying shit throughout the night I couldn't even understand.
I caught bits and pieces of stuff that they were saying. A lot of it was wanker. There was a lot of
they called Grayson Waller that. Yeah, when we get to that, I heard that. They called Dominic a wanker too at one point. So then we get Gunther versus Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental Championship. Matt Riddle, I've always hated your ass. Don't fucking wear braids again. Don't get your hair braided again. That was and go back. Don't. Oh, I hate wrestlers with no knee pads.
Right.
And
but
now
I guess he's utilizing. I guess that was the same kind of gear he wore in UFC though. The short shorts with the. He's kind of keeping that same type of feel. I guess on the Indies too, even WWE.
Well, he's not wearing shorts. He's wearing actual original OG wrestling tights. He just has no wrestling boots and no knee pads now.
Right.
And then Gunther just Gunther just looks fantastic. Like
he really does.
I remember when he first came, he was like he was chunky. Then he lost a lot of weight. And he's all muscular now. Like I like this version of him.
Yeah. Over here in Orlando. Downtown Orlando, I actually saw when I'm down there a lot. I see Gunther, the entire Imperium out with their women at bars and stuff a lot. And standing next to him, he's huge. He's fucking huge.
I didn't watch Raw last week because I was watching College World Series, but Riddle had his ankle taped up or something because Gunther went after the ankle and injured it. I'm like, maybe if you'd wear fucking wrestling boots, you wouldn't have a freaking minor injury. But you're too stupid to believe that. But, I mean, it was the least interesting match. I was hoping it was going to be total domination. But Riddle kind of had a few moves here and there. But
yeah.
Gunther dominated majority of the match. He expected it to be better, but it was good. But those two definitely can have better together. They've had some history in London. Like, I remember I saw, a meme of their graphic when they were in the Indies in London when they wrestled each other. And then they had another graphic when they were in another promotion in the UK.
Evolve. They had
Evolve.
in Evolve. Yeah.
Evolve Pro. Yeah. That's what it was then. It was something in the UK. It was an indie UK show. Then it was Evolve. And then it was WWE going down. And I'm like, oh shit. They've worked together in London quite often. Right.
I mean, I enjoyed. I didn't think the match was great. It was good for what it was. Riddle did get, he got his shit in, he got his offense in, but the whole point of the match was the ankle was messed up, and I loved Gunther chopping the ankle.
That was funny. That was funny. Yes, I was like, it reminded me when Stone Cold punched Dan McMahon on the cast when he was in the hospital.
Yep, I thought that was awesome.
Oh, Justice said they also wrestled each other in Progress and WXW.
Oh, okay. So a lot. There you go.
I've heard of Progress. I just never heard of that one, the other one.
WXW?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with WXW.
Yeah, but then he focused on the ankle. He put him in that leg lock and made him tap out. Gunther retains, but didn't expect to get a. I was expecting Drew McIntyre to come back in a different match, but no, he came back after this one. He's still a babyface. The crowd fucking screamed and cheered for him.
Yeah, they popped. Yeah, he popped. They popped for him.
He's a babyface, and he wants that Intercontinental title. So Triple H, make it happen. Make Gunther and Drew 1-on-1 at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title. That's going to be a fucking banger.
Right, but don't take the belt off Gunther until he beats Honky Tonk's man's record. I don't want him to lose a couple of days before that. He needs to break that record.
How many days?
If he holds it to October, is it October? I believe it's October. He'll break the record.
I know he won it. He's had it for almost 13 months now.
Right. I believe either ending of October, either in ending of September or October, he'll break the record.
The record is now 454 days. Gunther,
so that would put him to what, October?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Because he's not far from almost 400 days.
Right. So probably October, that puts him to that.
He's been champion for 380. He's got 100 days to go. He's 385 days right now. Now he's at 99. He's at 99 days now. Gunther's in. Yeah, he's 385 right now. So he's got, or today might make 386. So he's got 100 to 99 days to go. So yeah, possibly October. I mean, that would kind of suck for Drew, unless Drew would like win by a DQ or something.
Right. I mean, if they can hold off to Survivor Series, let's just hold off.
Absolutely. Yeah, because everyone's all about breaking records now. Like look at Roman. You know, he just passed Pedro Morales last week. He passed CM Punk last night. I think they just want him to at least get to pass Hogan's record, and then they could take it off of him, unless they want him to pass Bob Backlund. Because there's no way he's going to get Bruno. Bruno held it for fucking 7 years.
There's no way. There's no way.
I could see them trying to get him past Bob Backlund's record, but not Bruno's.
I mean, putting him to Bob Backlund's record, that'll be past next year's WrestleMania, correct?
Yeah, close, because the rumor, but there was rumors he could lose it at WrestleMania 40, or he could keep it till September of 2024. So I don't know. Bob Backlund held it 3 years, I think.
So it was something like that. Almost 4, yeah. Almost.
Something like that. So then we get Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic got booed out the fucking building. Why was he wearing a fucking vest of bullets? Is he trying to say he's bulletproof?
He's going to war, right?
Then Michael Cole said in the commentary, like, he served some hard times in London for like fucking jaywalking.
For jaywalking.
Oh god.
Oh shit. Listen, I love how they talk about Dom when he comes out, the jail time, the jaywalking, how hard he is. People in the locker room are scared of him.
It's fun.
I love his presentation. I love it.
It's like Wade Barrett's like, you got to respect the man. He served hard time. He's grown up in the streets. Michael Cole, oh, shut up. He's fucking loser. Like, he's the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. Like, he didn't say
His presentation is so good. I love it.
My God, Rhea Ripley, that hairdo, yes. Oh, she looked great last night.
Listen, the crowd for Cody was hot.
Oh,
fucking hot.
We're gonna get to that in a bit, but I gotta talk about a little bit of Rhea first. You know, I saw when they did their UK tour in the middle of the week, that fucking little fedora she had on at the live shows with the glasses on, looking like Slash, sexy as fuck.
Right.
She looked great last night. Oh my God! But let's talk about Judgment Day's been streaming on Twitter. You know, they redid the Abbey Road album cover of the Beatles. That image of them walking down Abbey Road.
Walking down that road, yep.
That was pretty cool. But yes.
I want to give you a quick segue. A friend of mine who's a painter was just painting Rhea Ripley's home like 2 weeks ago here in Orlando.
Now, I was very happy and found with Okay, so I knew it was coming, so I am sorry to the fans in Puerto Rico. I could give a fuck less to the fans at WrestleMania. They showed their colors on that, but no. For the last couple months, I said the Backlash, Cody's entrance at Backlash was the loudest and the best. Until last night. That crowd literally sang the song word for fucking word. And that was that whoa, and they still had the pipes to do the loudest whoa I heard with it. I'm telling you, they sang the song word for fucking word like they do with Judas.
Yeah,
that makes me wonder, what are they going to do when All In goes to Wembley? Can you imagine 90,000? What they can get to 90,000 people, 60 to 90,000 people singing Judas.
That's crazy.
All for nothing. But I love the entrance, but I just feel like Cody's just a. What's the point of Cody now? This whole finishing the story bullshit.
I mean, we'll get to that once we get to the main event. I have my thoughts on it.
But this man, I just thought it was boring. You know, Rhea didn't really get involved much. Yeah, she knocked Cody off the apron at one point. I was waiting for her to rip tie him at least, but I was like, thank God Dominic did not win. Thank God it wasn't the main event. I don't know what Eli was thinking. Eli said Dominic and Cody were going to main event because we were going to get the return of Brock. Brock Lesnar wasn't even in London. I was glad he wasn't there.
Well, on SmackDown and Raw, they presented as a triple main event for Money in the Bank.
I figured the triple main event was the money. Well, I couldn't say both. I figured the triple main event was the Bloodline Civil War, the World Heavyweight title, and at least one of the Money in the Bank ladder matches, probably the men's. Yeah, they threw Cody. It was Cody, Dom, and then Finn, Seth, and then the Bloodline Civil War. That was the triple main event. What they advertised. Okay, but yeah, thank God, Cody won. Even though I don't like. Yeah, I mean, the match was just a match. It was you probably could have did that on Raw and got it over with, and it was just basically a Raw match. I think basically they did that match to have Cody take off the cast. Hey. Michael Cole said, "Hey, I've heard he's been healed already." So that was actually that was funny when he took that cast, like his Dominic cheap shotted him. And then when he took that cast off, Dom's like, "Oh shit." Dom's like, "No." And then I got worried at first when I saw him run down the ramp, the entranceway. I was waiting for Brock to show up, but thank God Brock didn't show up. I'm assuming tomorrow on Raw, I would think. Yeah, they're back. They're going to be back in the States tomorrow. Yeah, I would think Raw. Well, I'll be tuning in. Hopefully Raw don't suck ass tomorrow night, but it should be good. But I know SmackDown's going to be in Madison Square Garden. I will watch that. Oh, yeah, that's just going to be lit. But I'm not very big on surprises because sometimes I've gotten surprises that I didn't like. But we got a hell of a surprise. We got John Cena appearing at Money in the Bank. And for once, the crowd did not even chant John Cena sucks. They sung his whole song like they did Cody. The entire song. I was surprised when they played the music because they did an ad with John Cena before he came out. I was like, oh, maybe they just playing his song. But when he came out, I was like, oh, well, shit. Well, I was wondering why is John Cena here, but he kind of gave it away while I was thinking about it. I'm like, what if he's here to make an announcement? And I kept visioning in my head, this crowd is so great. What if WrestleMania were here? And then he's here he came to thank the fans. It's been a long time that London had a pay-per-view and they deserved it. You guys are the show. You guys bring the energy and hype. And he's like, I'm just here to try and get WrestleMania to London. You can try, but try all you can because how that crowd was last night, they deserve it. Bring it to Wembley. You can't do it, maybe not for WrestleMania 40, but WrestleMania 41 in 2025 could be at Wembley. I'm assuming they threw him out there, to say that. But after WrestleMania in Philly, they will announce there's going to be the next year will be in London for sure, 100%. Well, they usually go back to the UK around the fall. So maybe then they'll announce it because last year they announced WrestleMania 40, the night of Extreme Rules in October because it was in Philly. So I thought they were going to announce it right there, but no, he said I'm going to try. I mean, try hard. I want it to happen. And then speaking of the comment, we get an interruption by Grayson Waller and I'm like, "Oh fuck, yes." I love Grayson Waller and I like Grayson too. I like him a lot. He's like, why don't we get WrestleMania in Australia? And I'm like, that would be pretty cool. You know, go back to that fucking cricket stadium they did a Super Showdown that had
What do
like
you call it? What do you call it? WrestleMania Australia?
WrestleMania Australia. That was so cheeky. Or not? It was a crow. Was it? Oh no, it was a croquet stadium. Speaking of cricket, yeah, I forgot to mention that of all weapons, and that Butch pulled out a fucking cricket bat.
A cricket, yep.
And they fucking went ape shit because cricket is just as big as cricket and soccer are probably their two biggest sports in the UK. I think like probably like football and baseball down here. Up in England, it's football and cricket.
Right, because I remember Michael Cole saying, "Is that a bat?"
Well, it's like,
no, it's not a bat.
It's a cricket. I thought they call it like a cricket paddle, and they said it's a cricket bat. I don't even know how you play cricket. Is it like baseball, except you're hitting with a fucking paddle?
It's something like that. Yes, it's almost like like baseball with a paddle, basically.
It would be funny too if Dylan's still watching. He's probably gonna check it out, and then he'll find him a new team, and then he's gonna start watching cricket. I turned him into a soccer fan. Now he watches it nonstop. Like our clubs played each other last night, but I didn't watch it because I was watching my Great American Bash Marathon, and he was blowing my phone up that Seattle beat the Dynamo again, and we were at the last matchup, and they won again last night. So.
Yeah, I try to check out like maybe 2-3 Orlando City games a year.
So yeah, then I'm thinking, oh man, well, they said Grayson Waller was like recovering from an injury or some shit, but he looked like he's fine now. Yeah, Justin said Grayson Waller and John Cena at SummerSlam. Fuck yeah, make it happen.
Oh yeah, because I think he did I think an IG live last week, and because people were saying why hasn't he wrestled yet? Why you keep doing? He said he broke his fibula his last match in NXT.
Which wasn't the steel cage match with Braun Breaker, was it?
Whatever his last match was, I'm not really sure, because remember when he got drafted, he was in a boot.
Justin, find out for us. I thought it was the cage match with Braun at Vengeance Day. That was the last. Well, oh no. He wrestled at Stand and Deliver. He fought Johnny Gargano.
That's what it was then. Because I remember him getting drafted that night on draft night. He was in a boot. That was his last.
Match. Was Johnny Gargano at Stand and Deliver. Because everybody wanted Shawn. I was like, no, Shawn's too fucking old. Shawn needs to grow his hair back before he can ever get back in the ring.
And even that, I don't want to see him in the ring again.
I don't. Yeah, after what happened 5 years ago at fucking Crown Jewel, that match that didn't need to happen. That could be its own episode of Dark Side of the Ring. That's how fucking bad it was. Oh, it was in one of his matches with Carmelo Hayes.
Okay. So he fought after Stand and Deliver.
He did. What's up, Tim? Tim King Show. Thank you. Dylan made the new logo. We finally retired after 2.5 years. We retired the LSU colors and we went black and blue. And Dylan made the new intro, made the new overlays, chose the colors, new countdown videos. Dylan did it all. Thank you, Dylan.
Which it looks really good, by the way. I love it.
Yeah, it was time for a change, but it was the way he approached it to me. He was like, "Don't be mad at me, but I'm getting us a new logo." And I'm like, when we first started, we went through fucking 7 different logos in 2 months. Like, we changed our logo more fucking times than a girl changes clothes. But when he got the globe one, we kept the globe one for a while. Then we updated it. They took our names off of it. And then he came up with something a few months ago. We had like an 80s retro look for a few months. Mm-hmm. It just really wasn't selling it for us. And then we were going to do like a black and red thing, but it's like black and blue. I said black and blue is 10 times better than black and red.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
I mean, I love the black and red combo. It gives me the Wolfpack vibe, but it also gives me a Raging Cajun vibe, which I have a love-hate relationship with, and arch rival of my alma mater in high school. They're black and red also. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, hopefully soon we'll get Grayson Waller and Cena possibly at SummerSlam. Then we get the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Io Sky, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Selena Vega, and Zoe Stark. It actually wasn't a bad match. It wasn't. it was good, but it wasn't. The men's was better.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, Becky Lynch, I know she was imitating Rogue from X-Men, but I felt like she wore that attire at another Money in the Bank event. I know I saw that attire before.
It was something similar. It's the same color scheme.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then, Zoe Stark, my main pick was Selena Vega. My backup was Io, but I was like, what if Zoe did win? Which I'd have been good if she won. Trish, I was like, I don't know why she was in it to begin with, but she had some moments in that match. I thought she was gonna fuck herself up.
Yeah, I mean, she busted her nose open. I don't know if you noticed it. Her nose got busted on some spot, but it looks like it was either broke or it was dented somewhere. On some spot, she messed up her nose. Yeah.
If she wears that face mask again, like she did in 2004 when she feuded with Lita, that's the last time.
There was some good spots in this match. It didn't go as smoothly as the men's, but then again, you know what? I don't really care because in Money in the Bank matches, ladder matches, shit is not supposed to go smooth. It's basically free for all. Shit is gonna happen.
And I mean, for Becky, it's like there were times she could have won, but I felt like she didn't want to win. I felt like she just wanted to take out Trish and Zoe. I got a feeling we're probably going to get Trish and Becky at SummerSlam eventually.
Or maybe Zoe Stark. Probably they haven't had a match yet, right?
I could see that happening like on Raw. They're going to probably do Trish and Becky at SummerSlam. I can believe that.
Or they do a tag team match. Lita comes back, and you have Lita and Becky versus Trish and Zoe.
Man, they were talking. Right? They were talking about they want to do like one more match with Lita and Trish one-on-one, like bring the rivalry back for one more night. That's another rumor. But like Io grabbed some handcuffs. They managed to get one end of the handcuff on her. I thought they were gonna like try and handcuff her to the ring rope or the post or something, but she was still fighting with a handcuff. Then you look at another side of things. At one point, Bayley knocked the ladder. Io was climbing the ladder, but Io looked amazing. The moonsault off the top of the ladder. The moonsault was awesome.
Flawless.
So awesome. Io won. I will talk about that in a bit. Wouldn't be surprised if Lita comes back and we get a tag match. Yes, he thinks a tag match.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one-on-one, but we'll see. I was proven wrong before. But yeah, Io at one point had it, and then Bayley knocked her off the ladder. But it was weird. She still came in the aid of Bayley whenever Becky was getting involved. But that was the coolest fucking ending ever, where she handcuffed the other end to Bayley through the ladder, and she climbed over Bayley, sits on the ladder, and she's holding the briefcase, and that was a unique finish. But where does that go from Damage Control? Is Damage Control about to split?
I mean, we saw Shayna and Ronda split. So Dakota Kai is out with her, I think it's an ACL tear, so she's gone for probably till next year. So this is going to be the split of that. I don't know if you agree with me. The men's match was better, but the finish to the women's match was better.
That was a great finish. Absolutely.
That was a great finish. And I mean, let's not sell Selena Vega short on that code red.
Oh my God, she looked good last night. Like the purple and the black and silver look. Yeah.
That code red on Zoe was awesome. That was fucking awesome.
I was waiting for the ladder to split in half, but when they bounced off the ladder,
her neck almost got caught in the ladder coming back off of it. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Didn't she like jump off the ladder at one point or dove through a ladder? I know Ricochet dove through the ladder, but I thought Selena did something like that too.
She might have.
But yeah, the crowd singing, "Hey, baby, will you be my girl?" Like every time she goes to the UK, they fucking sing that song to her. But how about the ring announcer fucking up saying representing the Judgment Day?
The Judgment Day.
I'm like, oh, are we getting a spoiler? Is Bayley going to leave Damage Control and go to Judgment Day?
I wouldn't be mad at it, to be honest.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't think we will need no more women. I think Rhea should be the only woman in the group. I can see JD McDonough going if one person leaves or if everyone stays together, but you never know.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming McDonough is going to be the split's coming between Priest and the Judgment Day. McDonough will then obviously take that spot.
Yeah. I like how when the show went off the air, both winners were taking pictures with John Cena backstage
In
with
the
their
back, yeah.
briefcases.
Like you won the briefcase, now you get to take a picture with John Cena.
I saw someone posted a before and after photo. Like this said something like, "Oh, these two always win together. Like they won Money in the Bank together, but like at one of the NXT shows, Damian Priest won the North American title and she won the women's title the same night. I think it was and it was NXT. It was Takeover 30, I think.
Yeah. Triple H booking.
Yeah, it was NXT Takeover 30. They won those titles together the same night, and then a couple 3 years later, they win Money in the Bank together. So that was a cool image right there. So then we get Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. I love Samantha Irv. Yeah, only time I've seen her mess up. Yeah, I don't know what she was thinking. I wonder that. I was like, why'd she say Judgment Day?
Right. It didn't make sense. Judgment Day. Like, that was so out of left field.
Yeah. Seth Rollins. What Finn Balor is he trying to be like Squid Games or something, like that mask he always comes out in?
I noticed that every premium live event he comes out with a new mask. I don't know if you noticed that. It's him and his mask for some reason.
They gave him a decent ovation too, but when Rollins came out, that was ball game. Like, I like how they just hummed his song for like damn near 2 or 3 straight minutes after the song went off, and then Samantha Irvin couldn't even do the introduction.
The look on Finn's face in disgust was great. Just looking at Seth like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, yeah. But Seth didn't really. He didn't really dress that crazy.
No, not tonight. No.
Like whatever the fuck he wore at Night of Champions, looking like a cheetah girl. I was worried. I was like, what if he comes out dressed like Elton John or something?
Yeah, he came out basically normal wrestling gear this time.
He had some like gold gear on. It looked pretty cool. But something told me like I was hoping this match would have been a banger. It would have been like 20, 30-minute match. It was kind of boring.
It was just like I said, another basic regular match. I think it was just a match to progress a story at this point. That's basically what it was for.
It got boring to the point that Damian Priest had to put some energy in the crowd, and I'm like thinking to myself, what if Seth, which Seth did retain, he hit the curb stomp. Like at one point, Damian was gonna try and catch. Seth was like, you trying to be like me? Come on, I dare. Like daring him, like, come on, cash in. I dare. He sits in a chair. At one point, when Finn goes to do the coup de grace, he gets up thinking about it, but he sits back down. But that distracted Finn. Seth hit the curb stomp and retains. And then I'm like, all right, what are you cashing in or not? And then he's arguing with Finn. So maybe he might leave Judgment Day. I don't know.
I mean, the writing's on the wall. The last couple of weeks have been telling Judgment Day, don't be at ringside for none of my matches. So the writing's on the wall. And I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a successful cash-in, considering if he does leave Judgment Day, maybe they cost him his cash-in. Maybe Finn cash him and you start a feud. It can go a lot of ways with Damian Priest. You can go a lot of different ways.
I don't even remember what he wore at SummerSlam that year. Must have been something unique. But I was like, I kept thinking, like, what if Seth retains and he just cashes in and wins it over Finn? Or what if Finn would have won and cashed in on Finn? That'd have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. I'm honestly tired of Seth as champ already. I'm ready. I was hoping Finn would win. I'm over Seth as champ right now.
Well, I guess Kayla is right from the Queen's Takeover. I think they're going to have another match at SummerSlam. Seth and Finn. And maybe Finn could win, but I thought I heard a rumor that they were going to have Seth keep it all the way to WrestleMania, but I could be wrong.
I mean, you know what? Seth is the only – they made that abundantly clear, showing the history of the Money in the Bank cash-ins, that Seth has been the only one to cash in at WrestleMania. Maybe then Priest does it in Philly.
Maybe. Could do it at SummerSlam. He could do it. You never know.
All right.
I can't see Damian's got to go after that. I can see him cashing in on the World Heavyweight title. I don't want him cashing in on the Intercontinental title or I can't see him doing it to Roman. Nobody's going to cash in on Roman, and no one's going to do it to Theory. He has to cash in on the big gold belt.
Yeah, he has to. At this point, you have Drew. It's going to be Drew and Gunther for the duration of this feud. So his only option is to cash in on the big gold belt, the new gold belt.
The logo in the middle don't bother me. Like, I really like that fucking title. I kind of
I like it a lot. No, I do like it. I like it a lot.
I'd rather that one than Roman's belt.
I agree.
But the belt looks good on Roman, but I don't think it would look good on anybody else. Like, that's basically that could be that should be Roman's custom championship, because he's the only one that's gonna make that title look good on him.
Yep. And with Heyman still carrying around the two of the belts, it's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. I know it's a women's title, but I think the big gold belt looks way better on Rhea as a white strap.
Yes. Yep.
Well, if that wasn't a women's title, I'd order that one. But if I order it, I got to get a black strap, because I don't want no women's title sitting next to this one.
You gotta get it custom colored.
They were like, "Oh, why don't you get the OG big gold belt?" I'm like, I don't need it. My LSU championship is the exact replica of it, so that is my big gold belt.
Right.
But I mean, if I were to buy the WWE title, see, that's another dilemma. Do I want the Wing Eagle, the Big Eagle, or the Undisputed title?
No, you got to go Wing Eagle all the way.
The one Sean and Brett had.
Yes, all the way. All the way.
Yeah. Raise cash. Yeah. So I could see them continuing it at SummerSlam. We'll see. Because I thought Drew was going to come back as a heel and go after Seth, but no, he's back as a babyface and he's going after Gunther. So we're going to probably get another Finn Seth match at SummerSlam. Maybe Finn could win the title back, or Damian could cash in. I don't know.
Or they do Dom versus Seth at SummerSlam.
Why the fuck would you do that?
They might go that route. They might do Dom and Seth at SummerSlam. They might.
I cannot see Dominic challenging for a fucking world title.
They might do
right
it.
now.
They might do it. I think they might do it.
If they put that fucking belt on him and Rhea are walking around with both those titles, I don't know what I would do it myself. I'd have to call the suicide hotline. Like, no shit.
I mean, honestly, if you notice, they're putting Dom in these matches with high profile talent.
Taking L's.
Taking L's, yeah. But they're still putting him in the match. So I think they could go around where you see Dom probably versus Seth.
I mean, we already saw that in front of no fans, and I was so glad Dom got his ass whooped, because that's when he was getting on my fucking nerves when bringing up his hot ass sister in the storyline.
But you know what? They could always play off of what happened back in 2020,
just like Finn did with 2016.
Exactly. They could, as you can see, where I'm going with that now.
If Seth's gonna have a feud with all of the Judgment Day, I'd rather just see him fight Damian Priest 1-on-1.
I mean, we might, but I think Dom's the logical next proponent for him.
We'll see. Even Justin thinks that. If that happens, Seth better fucking retain that title. I'll be glad if I'll only accept him losing it if Damian cashes in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to the main event, they had an interview with KO and Sammy, like in the suites, getting ready to watch that tag match. I loved how even the crowd was doing the da 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 da. Like, oh my god, give them fucking WrestleMania now.
Right.
They were just notching the fucking song.
Which, you know what? I'm surprised they didn't put Sammy in a match on this card. I thought they missed an opportunity to have a match on the card.
Well, that match with Pretty Deadly doesn't sound like it should be on Money in the Bank. Yeah, I wish they could have been on that Money in the Bank card. They could have fought another tag. They could have fought Imperium.
They could have fought Imperium, exactly. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make that happen.
No, they had to fight fucking Pretty Deadly, which the match was okay, but I was just glad Asuka still had the title, but maybe some tells me at SummerSlam we're gonna get a triple threat with them two and Bianca.
We can see that coming from a mile away.
But is Asuka gonna retain the title? Because they were talking about if she loses it, she was gonna lose to Bianca and not Charlotte.
Well, what I think is gonna happen is, yes, triple threat, but I think Io is gonna cash in at SummerSlam in that triple threat.
I just don't want Charlotte. I mean, it's obviously she's going to eventually break that record. I'm just over her getting these fucking opportunities when there's other women that deserve an opportunity. Unless, like, Io Sky could cash in on Asuka. Everybody wants an Asuka-Io feud. I could maybe see her taking it off of Asuka.
They could, but you know what? They're gonna pat Charlotte Flair's stats, so they'll have her win the belt at SummerSlam and then have Io cash it on her that night, same night, just to say that she won the belt.
That's why I was like, they just want her to break that fucking record. They don't care if she only holds it for. Nope. She can hold it for 2 minutes, and then they're fine with that. It's like
that's all they want. That's all they want. That's all they want with her. That's it.
They just fucking play hot potato with it.
That's all they want. They just want her to break that record. It doesn't matter if she won it for 20 seconds or 5 months. It doesn't matter.
We're going to be talking more about Charlotte when we do Great American Bash 2000 when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it. That's all I'm going to say. For everybody else, you'll have to wait till the 4th of July. Unless you go to Peacock and watch that WCW pay-per-view.
Right.
All right, then we get to the main event, the Bloodline Civil War. That crowd, they even sung the Usos theme song.
The whole thing.
Well, not the whole thing or just the chorus?
No, they were singing from when they came out, the entire thing. They sang the whole thing, and I was surprised because I remember I went back because I had the option to rewind at that time. I could go rewind and come back. They sang the entire thing.
I only know the chorus. I don't even know the verses.
They knew it word for word. I don't even know word for word. I was like, holy shit. They know this song word for word.
Give them WrestleMania now.
You have to at this point. You have to.
But wait, you know what? I just thought about this. You know there's like fucking 5 stadiums in London. Do you do it at Wembley? Do you do it at Tottenham? Or do you do it at one of those fucking other ones?
You would, I think, if you know Vince McMahon's mentality, they're gonna want to break AEW's Wembley record.
Okay.
So it has to be Wembley. It really is no other option.
I think Wembley is the biggest stadium in London. Like,
I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. You might be right. I don't know all the stadiums. I just know Wembley is one of the biggest. I don't know if there is one that does hold more people. I have no clue.
I know Wembley's capacity is like around 90,000, and then that new one they built for the NFL when they do their international series, Tottenham Stadium, I think their capacity is like 70,000. So gotcha. Wembley is bigger, but you just do it in London. Just do it at Wembley.
Yeah, they have to do it at Wembley, and you know what? It'd be 2 days. Fuck, and then probably 90,000 people each day.
They also have London Stadium. That's where they did that fucking baseball series with the Cubs and the Cardinals. But that is a 62,000 capacity stadium.
Right.
So don't do it. Don't do it there.
Do that.
Tottenham is one.
Well, you know what? Capacity. But remember, when you put wrestling events, they do fill up the bottom floor with chairs. So you can always add an extra 20 to 15,000, maybe 15 to 20,000 seats at LOB stadiums.
Yeah. I mean, the main stadium in London is Wembley. I mean, they have London Stadium, they have Emirates Stadium, that's 60,000. Tottenham, that brand new one they just built for the NFL, that's 62,000. And then they have a very smaller stadium. Well, I say smaller, but they have another one that's 40,000. But Wembley's their biggest one, so you might as well just do it at Wembley.
Yeah, that's the most logical.
How you doing, Ryan? I'm so upset LA Knight didn't win. I was upset too, but I was fine with Damian winning. Yeah, I mean, Wembley could break the record. SoFi Stadium didn't break AT&T Stadium's record. So yeah, Wembley could break it.
100%.
Yeah, and when Roman come out, they're booing the fuck out of him. They're still throwing the ones. They had people taking shoes off and holding shoes up in the air.
I think I resaw that on YouTube, and I think that's like a sign of like they hate somebody over there, that they take their shoe off and they go like, and they boo. That's a sign like they really hate you.
And then they were doing a fuck you Roman chant, and then they were singing a song to Roman, and it was pissing Roman off.
Yeah.
I would have been fine if Finn won. Now that's what the storyline, Damien Seth. Yeah. So, he has another comment. I think Finn for sure. What, leaving WWE?
Nah, I don't see that.
Or leaving the Judgment Day? He said this. When do you think Bray come? Man, I don't know. But everybody wants him to have another match with LA Knight. They thought he was going to come back in London. They want another match at SummerSlam. I'm like, no, LA Knight. Fuck, I want a LA Knight Logan Paul match too.
Listen. Bray and LA Knight should never have another match ever again.
I was there for that.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
That was a terrible match.
If I would have went to SmackDown 2 weeks ago, or yeah, almost 2 weeks ago, I could have finally saw him win a match against Rey Mysterio. But the only 2 times I saw LA Knight, I saw him at Stand and Deliver last year. He lost to Gunther, and I saw him at the Royal Rumble losing to Bray Wyatt. But I was fine with him losing it. But it's just cool to see him again. I think he comes back for SummerSlam and Bray and Grayson Waller. That'd be interesting.
That wouldn't be bad. But then, as we were talking about earlier, we probably think it's going to be Cena and Waller at SummerSlam.
Oh. Yeah, but does he build Waller up, or does he beat him?
But the thing is, we don't even know what the hell Bray's going to come back as.
I'm talking about Cena.
Cena. I can't see Cena losing 4 pay-per-views in a row. No way. I can't see it. I cannot see that.
Yeah, I'll take this loss for Grace.
Yeah, I can't see him losing 4. There's no way.
He can say,
I know he's there to pull over young talent now, but
he could say like, "Oh, my first match on the main roster was against the 16-time champion John Cena, even though he lost."
Right, exactly. I can't see Cena losing again at a pay-per-view.
Okay, so unlike the tag match at Night of Champions, Roman Reigns actually competed in this a lot more. A lot more.
Yeah.
And at one point, like, he told like Paul, he's like, "I hate London. Like, I hate this crowd so much." And fucking Paul being the guy. Why are they carrying all 3 belts? That's the first question. Paul, that's the most I've seen Paul Heyman dripped in gold, holding 3 belts at once. 2 that should be retired and put in the warehouse. And then he looks at Roman like he thinks he's the next tribal chief, and you want your sons to be at the head of his table? And like saying all this shit, and pissed Roman off. Like, my sons are not gonna answer to him.
Listen, he was in the match the majority of the time. Roman Solo got his, but it was more Roman than anything in this match versus both the Usos.
I mean, I'm fast forwarding ahead here. Yeah, we already had a Jay Roman feud with how the match ended. You know, everybody wants another Jay. Why don't you do Roman and Jimmy one-on-one? Like, everybody's like, why don't we let Jey Uso challenge for the title and let him take it off? What's that going to do with Jimmy? You can't have one and have the other.
Well, okay, so if you go back to 2020, right, the story arc has always been Jay, right? When Jimmy was out, Jimmy was always the odd man out. It was always Jay. Jay was the one who got pressured to be in the bloodline. He was the one who had to concede, acknowledge, all that shit. So, now you fast forward to 2023. Maybe, I'm assuming SummerSlam, if the writing's on the wall, it's going to be Jay versus Roman. And maybe you do Jimmy versus Solo at SummerSlam. I think that's where they're going to go. That's probably where they're going to go.
I kind of want, we already saw Jay and Roman twice. I wouldn't mind seeing Jimmy, give Jimmy an opportunity, because Jimmy was the one that people say Sammy was the one that kind of downgraded, put the broken pieces in the bloodline. But I felt like Jimmy was the one that kicked that hole and made it bigger. But who's gonna be the one to blame that the bloodline was no more? Jimmy or Jay or even Sammy?
It's probably logically it's Sammy, right? That'll be the logical. But then it all comes down to Sammy at the end of the day. He was the one who took down the bloodline.
Jimmy was the one that kicked Roman first. He kicked him twice. Right. And then Jay just followed along with him. Jay was the final nail in the coffin of the bloodline splitting up. But I felt like Jimmy was the one that started it all with Sammy out of the picture. Like, Jimmy was the one that got tired of getting fed up and getting talked and pushed and shoved by Roman. I don't know. Something's going to give. Roman's going to defend that title, or he will have a match at SummerSlam. It could be a handicap match, could be a triple threat, it could be one-on-one with one or the other. I don't know if we're going to have another tag match down the road, but something's going to give, because first Justin said, main event was great, but not a fan of Roman getting pinned. When Roman loses the titles, it's going to be big, but having Roman getting pinned, that was kind of unpredicting. I was figuring Solo was going to take the pin. I didn't think Jay was going to pin Roman. And when that 3 count hit, that pop holy shit, was fucking loud. And then Dylan put, Roman getting pinned makes Cody's story completely pointless. Yeah, we talked about that last night when he called me.
I don't agree with that though. I don't think it's pointless, because if you go back to the premise of Cody coming in, finish the story. The story wasn't to beat Roman. That wasn't the story. The story is to win the belt though.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, what is the fucking story?
Right, because the whole premise of his story was, I want to be a champion because my dad was never the champion. It wasn't to, I'm coming into here to beat Roman.
He was never the WWE champion.
WWE champion. So it was never to beat Roman though. So that's why I think people are getting like, okay, Roman got pinned, but that's not the premise of Cody's story arc. It's to pin Roman. It's to win the belt. Whether it's on Roman or anybody else, it's for him to win the belt that his father never had. So if this whole story was, I have to pin Roman, the belt, him winning the belt would be pointless. It would just be, I have to pin Roman. It wouldn't make sense. Now that's my opinion. I don't know if you agree. I see a lot of people who Dylan is saying it's pointless now. Cody's, that whole shit is over with. Everybody on social media, but that's not the story arc for him. It's him winning the belt. That's all it's about.
Yeah, if he would to win another Royal Rumble or not. Dylan also said, Cody said at the post-show press conference, even beating Roman for the title wasn't finishing the story. Yeah, you told me that last night. What is the story at the point? Besides, winning the belt. Yeah, but who are you going to beat for the belt? You going to beat Seth, or are you going to beat Roman? Or whoever else has it? Damian Priest? Huh.
And, I mean, think about it. He took a pin in a tag team match. They didn't have a non-title match at a pay-per-view where he lost one-on-one fair and square. He lost in a tag match. It's not really that big of a deal, to be honest. To me, it's not a big deal.
He took that pin. Well, I was kind of 50-50 at Night of Champions. I was like, is he going to take the pin or is Solo? But I was like, Solo's going to take the pin. I thought he was going to take the pin again, but no, but I was like, was Jay pinning Roman? Should have been Jay that took the pin or Jimmy. Jay took the pin, but I was like, why don't you let Jimmy take the pin?
But you know what? To progress the storyline, Solo taking the pin wasn't going to progress the storyline. Roman had to take a pin in this match to progress the storyline to SummerSlam. Because how do you get to Jimmy or Jay versus Roman by them pinning Solo? It doesn't work.
Well, that ref got bumped. One of the fucking worst bumps I've ever saw.
Oh, dude, he got caught in between the rope. He got hurt legit.
I was like, when he double covered him like he did with Edge and Daniel Bryan, and that was funny too. Twitter's like, oh my god, Michael Cole said Daniel Bryan. Yeah, no shit, because he used to work for WWE. Like, I swear to God, I hate the fucking IWC sometimes. People
act like other promotions can't say their wrestler's name because they used to work there. They still reference Dean Ambrose in WWE.
Yeah.
And AEW, they still talk about Cody Rhodes.
They want another fucking war. We don't want that shit. Just like, okay, remember when Roman was celebrating his 1,000th day and they showed that fucking timeline graphic and they showed CM Punk and the internet was like, oh my God, they mentioned CM. Oh my God, shut the fuck up. I don't even want to hear his fucking name right now. I fucking hate the bastard. The worst advertisement for a video game I ever saw on Instagram earlier this morning. And I told them, I was like, I didn't even watch Collision. I heard it sucked.
Because it was pre-recorded this week on Thursday. It wasn't even live.
Oh wow! See,
yeah, they pre-recorded. Apparently, when there's big events on Saturdays, they're going to be pre-recording Collision. I believe either during Dynamite, so that it comes in on Saturday. A lot of these collisions are not going to be live.
Oh, good. So now you're going to make the fans attending Dynamite go home late at fucking night, like the OG days. Not completely pointless. It's just lesson. If Cody beats Roman, it's going to complete the story. But having him be the first to break Roman's would have capulated him even higher. Yeah, but Jay pinned Roman, which, I mean, it's been Michael Cole having an orgasm. Like, it's been 3.5 years since Roman got pinned. December 15th, 2019. Like, you don't hear nobody brag about hadn't been pinned or submitted for years. I can understand if they were talking about his title reign, but just him not getting pinned is just it's like lazy booking of him.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if he hasn't got pinned. He's lost matches without getting pinned, though. People forget about that. He's been
disqualified.
He's been disqualified. He's lost in tag team matches.
He's been counted out.
He's been counted out. So
he's been in a brawl.
It doesn't matter. Like the pin, Jay pinning Roman doesn't fucking matter for Cody. In what Cody has going on, that has nothing to do with anything. Jay's not going to win the belt at SummerSlam. It's still going to progress. You're still going to have Cody take the belt off Roman, if that's where they're going to go. I don't think the pin matters. I don't think that mattered. It mattered for this storyline. It mattered for Jay, for them getting to SummerSlam. That's why it mattered.
I think just people were shocked that they actually won, because I was the only one that predicted Roman and Solo were going to win, because I couldn't see Roman lose back-to-back tag matches, even though he did not get pinned, which people sometimes, they kind of were shocked. I knew it was coming. Like, I knew they were not going to win the tag titles, but some people were like, oh my God, when was the last time he lost the match? Like, yeah, he lost the match, but he didn't get pinned. But
yeah, he's lost matches before.
It's not a big deal. Like, I was happy.
It's not a big deal.
I was just shocked they let them keep him. Like, I was worried they were going to fuck him over and give more belts for Paul Heyman to try and carry. But no, that was more shocked. Now, the Usos winning, I was like, holy shit, they fucking did it. Because I didn't think they were really going to do it. But they did it. But if he'd have pinned Solo, then I'm like, oh, cool, they won. But I was just like, oh my fucking God. Not only they did it, they pinned fucking Roman. Like,
right. You okay, so now you get my point, right?
Exactly.
They win, they pin Solo. It's like, okay, fuck, they pin Solo. What happens next? They're gonna have another rematch tag team at fucking SummerSlam? No, you had to pin Roman to get the wow moment and to progress the storyline. He had to take a pin. That's what you had to do it.
But either way, I rated the Civil War 5 stars.
It was fucking great. It was a great match.
I said it on the live stream last time. This is the story of the fucking decade. And someone on a cell phone posted, like Dylan tweeted about it, and I retweeted it. It was a fan footage of Roman having a mental breakdown in front of Paul Heyman, and I guess it's a fucking referee or something. This was not shown on television. This was just Roman staying in character, and I didn't get to watch him scream or holler. Like, somebody in a suit. Oh, it's a photographer, or it's a cameraman. So maybe it was shown on TV. I don't know.
No, because I remember last night seeing the lasting effect of him sitting in front of the ring, like almost crying, like he got pinned, like he was freaking out.
You see, he did that when he double covered them and they kicked out. They both got a shoulder up.
That's right. And then he also did that with the spear and the Solo finishing move on Jay. He kicked out of that too, didn't he?
Dude, this guy who recorded this video on his phone cannot stop focusing on Paul Heyman's ass. At Brand New Drip, you need to focus more on Roman. I know Paul Heyman was probably in the way. I'd have cut it off right there. Paul Heyman's like bending over like he's trying to wipe his ass, and you just get a full moon.
Dude, but that match was, that was probably one of the best tag team matches you'll see. I'm not saying it's the best tag team match we've seen this year, because obviously I think AEW has, even though I'm not the biggest AEW fan, but their tag team matches they go hard. I do like the tag team match, but this one is up there. It's up there as one of the best tag team matches you'll see.
Oh yeah. This was my opinion. As of now, it's the show of the year. Yeah, it was Forbidden Door for a week, and then Money in the Bank just completely fucking dominated it. But that was definitely match of the night. That match was 5 stars. It could be a match of the year nominee right there. See, that's another thing people were waiting on. Everyone thought waiting for Solo to turn on Roman.
Not yet. You can't do that just yet. You can't do it just yet. Can't do it yet.
It could happen. It could happen, but I knew it wasn't going to happen that night.
No, I can't. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that quick. Because remember, you still need somebody with Roman before he becomes completely on an island by himself.
Exactly. And whoever thought, shout out to the production crew, the writers, the staff. remember they wanted to try and do this with The Rock, but instead they did this with the Usos instead. This was the right call.
Agree.
We don't need the fucking Rock. And I'm a big Rock fan. We don't need him. Let him go run his shitty XFL that damn near bankrupted.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the interview with Ariel Helwani and the Usos before the pay-per-view. Did you get a chance to watch it? It's about 35 minutes.
No, I didn't.
But The Rock did come up in that interview. They kind of said that there's still layers to go in the storyline. Not hinting at The Rock, but kind of like Ariel did bring up The Rock, and he's like, there's so much layers that we can still left to go. So I'm assuming The Rock is still going to be involved in this somehow, some way, eventually. I think that's where it leads to, it's probably going to be a non-title between him. But I think so. He comes in eventually.
If you're going to do a Rock Roman match, it don't need to be for a championship.
There's no need.
A fucking C+? No, I give that an A.
Nah, that was definitely an A show. Come on, you got to give it an A show.
Come on, Justin.
Now, are you giving it a C because LA Knight didn't win? You dropped it down a couple of notches. Is that why?
I don't know where he get the C from, but
I mean, a lot of people were mad. Listen, a lot of what I saw on Twitter now that I got a chance to watch it, the two things people were mad about: LA Knight not winning, Roman getting the pin. But if you take a step back and look at the storylines logically, those were the two right decisions to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, what else are you going to do at this point? You're going to have Solo keep eating pins too? What the fuck?
No, they got to make Solo like an irresistible force at some point.
Exactly my point. Damian Priest winning Money in the Bank was not – that was the logical – and even, okay, before LA Knight went on the big pop run, right? Let's go back to Backlash. Okay. Where after the match with Priest and Bad Bunny, what was everybody saying on that? You got to put the Money in the Bank briefcase on Priest. He's got to win.
He earned that one. Yeah,
he earned that, right? In the last couple of – from Backlash till now, LA Knight has been picking up, been getting more pops, and it was kind of like – it was almost being a prisoner of the moment. Like, I love LA Knight, trust me. But let's go back to what the work Damian Priest has been putting in. It was illogical to put it on him. There was no
Well, Triple H realizes his over with the crowd is eventually going to get him somewhere. I said, that's why I think it's going to get him to maybe the U.S. title.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, maybe you never know. Maybe he might say, you know what? Let's give the fans what they want. Let's have him win a Royal Rumble and go after not Roman, maybe go after the world title.
Exactly.
You never know. But I foremost loved this show. This was definitely the best Money in the Bank I've ever seen. And I said 2011 was the best one until now. So 2023, that London crowd made it everything. They need more pay-per-views. I mean, give them a WrestleMania. Hell, give them a fucking Royal Rumble too. Not the same year. Hell, if you want to go do the Rumble in 2024, be my guest. But I've heard rumors it might be in Orlando.
Hey, listen. I went to Royal Rumble in Orlando the night AJ Styles debuted it. I was ramp side. I have the chair. That was fucking awesome. So if they can come back and do it again, I'll be there.
No disrespect, but I still think Florida shouldn't be allowed to host Premier Live events another year after all the ones they've held during the pandemic. Like, let other states finally get shows again. I mean, there was a talk they want to do it in Orlando in 2024, but they want to do it outdoors for the first time ever. I don't know how cold it gets, but
no. Well, around that time, it's not cold at all. Yeah, they would do it at
the Camping World Stadium.
Camping World Stadium, which is formerly the Citrus Bowl. They would do it there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to go to UCF and do it over there. You might as well go to the stadium they did WrestleMania.
Yep.
So, well, that will do it for today. Real quick before we go, let them know where they can find you on social media and your podcast talking about it all.
You can find me on Twitter. I am the real Freddy 85. You can find me on Twitter, TBA, talk about it all. And thank you for having me on, man. This is awesome. I like I said, this show for me was A+ fucking show.
Exactly. And I will see you tomorrow night after Raw goes off the air. We're going to record Great American Bash 2000, and we're going to drop it on the 4th of July. But for all the listeners, thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next Thursday. The Hostly Trio will be back together. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. I'm sure Dylan and Jordan will give them their quick thoughts about everything Money in the Bank. We'll probably bring up some shit that happened on Raw and NXT and whatnot, but But until then, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Hope you all have a safe and happy, wonderful 4th of July. Don't drink and drive. Don't lose your fingers popping fireworks, because that's nothing more American than people pop fireworks in the open. Don't pop them in the neighborhood where you can burn.
Yeah, there's no
down.
reason. Yeah, I hate that shit.
And if you're an electric scooter, you know the drill. What's his name? That fucking meme video.
Who?
The old man that was in the electric scooter and the damn sparks flew on him.
Oh, Terry.
Terry, don't be a Terry.
Don't be a Terry.
All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, man. Have a good 4th of July, man.
Yep, y'all too.
All right.
Eyes like they're hypnotized, waiting for the enemy. This silence is a lie.